So I'm here today to talk to you about how my heart might be depending on your code. So I'm a security researcher, but I'm also a patient. Every single beat of my heart is generated by a medical device, a pacemaker implanted in my body. 5 years ago, exactly 5 years ago, actually, I woke up lying on the floor. It turned out I had fallen because my heart had taken a break, long enough to cause unconsciousness. To keep my pulse up and to stop my heart from taking pauses, I needed to get the pacemaker implanted in my chest. So this little device is monitoring each of my heartbeats, and it sends a small electrical signal directly to my heart via an electrode to keep it beating. But how can I trust my heart when it's running on proprietary code and there's no transparency? When I got the pacemaker, it was an emergency procedure, so I needed the device to stay alive. There was really not an option to not have the device. It was, however, time to ask questions. To the surprise of my doctors, I began asking about the potential security vulnerabilities in the software running on the pacemaker and possibilities of hacking this life-critical device. The answers were unsatisfying. My healthcare providers couldn't answer my technical questions about InfoSec, and many of them hadn't even thought about the fact that this machine inside of me is running computer code. Little technical information was available from the manufacturer. And this is why I decided to seek out this information myself. Imagine that this is your heartbeat. A heartbeat being controlled by a machine that is running code inside of your body. Wouldn't you also like to know if it can be trusted? So my life depends on hardware and software. As you can see from this graph, it's a print from my previous checkup at the hospital. The line that is at 100% is telling how much of the time during 24 hours my heart is paced. So that's the ventricle. The ventricle is paced 100%, so I'm depending 100% on the pacemaker. The lower graph is how often the atrium is paced. My condition is not so that I need to have the upper heart chamber paced at all times, so this is mainly paced when I'm sleeping, because my pulse drops below the limit, which is set at 50 beats per minute. So you can configure this in the settings of the pacemaker. So they put it at 50 beats per minute, and if it drops below that, I'm also paced in the atrium. And you can also see the hardware that is inside of my body and that I have to trust with my life. It's actually very interesting to see how this pacemaker looks like inside. So this is one of the pacemakers that I've been looking at in my research project and taking apart in the lab and trying to figure out what kind of chips are on it. Because, as I said, there's no transparency. When I got the implant, I had no choice in what type of implant they put inside of me. And I asked the physician after the surgery about the model of pacemaker and so on. And they said, you got the top model, the latest model. You're one of the first patients having this. And it has all the features. So as a security researcher, I'm not really reassured when I hear that. So of course, I wanted to figure out myself how secure this is. How secure is my personal critical infrastructure.